Have you ever gotten a handwritten letter? I've gotten long emails, but handwritten.
Well, I got that 4-page PDF. Another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. Coming to you from LA.
Oh, okay, this is really weird. So we've like switched coasts and we've switched sides of the couch.
Oh yeah.
Have we ever recorded with you on that side of the couch?
I don't think so. It feels different over here.
I'm always looking out the window. And you're always looking into the
switch? I feel like I'm blinded. You know I have sensitive eyes.
Do you hate it? You do sensitive. Okay, let's switch.
Okay, we're switching. Okay, we're gonna do a whole switcheroo. Yeah, did you guys know this about me? I have sensitive eyes, which is weird because they're brown. It's usually a lighter eyed thing. This is so much better. Oh my God.
You are also more sensitive to sounds and smell than anybody. Like, if something smells bad, you can't get past it. I can at least, like, ignore it. You have to address it, talk to somebody.
Will not get past it. It's not, I can't live.
That's what I'm saying. Like, most people just get over it, and you're like, I will not.
I might never stop wearing masks on an airplane. Because if I catch a whiff of something on an airplane, I'm like furious.
It is such a dream.
the audacity to smell bad.
It is such a dream.
Up here.
The audacity, you guys know what I mean. Up here.
No, I'm in the air. But yeah, in first class. Oh my God. Up here. No, I meant in the air, but yeah, we are also at the front of the plane.
At the front of the plane. Less people take their shoes off at the front of the plane, but I saw one the other day. Shoes off, just toes, raw dog on the floor. On a plane.
Toes on the floor?
Toes, raw dog on the floor.
Nope. I'll take my shoes off on a long flight.
You're part of the problem.
But with socks, if you're on like an overnight flight or like a long flight, like I'm taking my shoes off.
I've never done it.
I'm putting them on to go to the bathroom.
But you're leaving your phone at the seat, unlike me.
You know what? We might need to address that, actually. Okay, we had to talk about this because we were on a plane. This was maybe like a month ago. Maybe we were coming back from last time we were here in LA. And the flight attendant came over the loudspeaker and said that someone left their phone in the airplane bathroom. And I was like, what? I was like, no. I thought it was so funny that I made a note in my phone to maybe start to write a bit about it. Because I was like, that is chaotic. To A, bring it in there. What do you need it for? And B, leave it in there. Because it is just no counter space. You just didn't see it. There's nowhere to put it, nowhere to go.
Sometimes I put it under my armpit or in my mouth.
And Raina said she brings hers in there, and it's A, it's gross. B, what are you? That is the most get in and get out situation. Are you scrolling on the toilet in the plane?
I think in my mind, I'm worried that somebody is going to steal it on the plane.
It's so stupid. Steal it. No one's ever gotten anything stolen. You have all your other stuff.
It is crazy when you think about it. I leave my entire wallet, my passport, my ID, my TSA pre-check,
it's just how
all
it
my
is.
credit cards. I leave everything, my Vax card, but I take my phone.
Yeah, right. No one's stealing. And then, so it wasn't Raina, but I asked her, I was like, is this funny? And she was like, I do that. I was like, you're an animal. And so then at the end of the flight, she came on again. That person never got their phone. So here's my theory. I think it was some drunk bitch that went in there and was maybe she was taking sexy selfies and she's sending it to someone you want to join the Mile High Club? And then she went back to her seat, got drunk, passed out watching a movie and forgot about her phone. First of all, when that announcement came on, I didn't check for my phone. I knew I had it. I would never bring it into a bathroom or the airplane. But I'm sure people that would do that type of thing checked for their phone. Did you check for your phone?
No.
Did you hear it? Or were you headphones in?
I heard it, but I was on my phone when they announced it. I'm never not on my phone.
You heard it and you were like, that's normal.
I'm I would never. It's always so funny when you have conversations with people and you say something to them as though they're going to 100% agree. There's no chance on this earth they're not going to agree. And then they totally disagree with you. And it throws me for such a loop.
It's so funny.
So we're in LA. We've had an amazing week. It's been an embarrassment of wealth.
Wealth?
Yeah. Just, the weather.
Oh, an embarrassment of riches.
Yes. Sorry, guys. Listen, Ashley knows words better than me. It's just the weather, the men.
It's been really good. I did stand up out here. It was almost too good. It was almost too good. I was like, everyone's so nice. Everyone's so welcoming. Like, I'm like a new kid here. The crowds were so great. I performed at the Laugh Factory and the Hollywood Improv. Some of you snacks came out.
I thought you were great. I did not see your first show. Well, we did a really fun show with Josh Myers at the Comedy Store.
Oh, yeah, we did
night.
the jam.
The goddamn Comedy Jam. If you guys ever have a chance to see that, definitely go. It's really fun. And then I did not see you at the Laugh Factory, but I came to the Improv last night, and you were just so fantastic, and you just were so confident, and you commanded the stage. And I see you do comedy all the time. You're always like that. But and then our friend Trevor Wallace was on the show too, and you guys were both just such a treat to see. So it was great. It was great. I was gonna say. You know, when you start to say one word, you say another.
Yeah, girl. So Trevor Wallace, he's great. If you guys know him, he's got like a ton of followers on social media. He's a great comedian. He's very funny. Raina has done his podcast, and he has a joke about Raina's breast reduction.
So this was crazy how this happened. I feel like our listeners are so smart and sharp. They're like the CIA. It's fucking wild.
100%.
This girl sent me a DM. She's like, this is going to sound really crazy. I don't even know if you're like friends with him, but you and Trevor Wallace has this joke about a friend of his that got a breast reduction, and I think it's about you. And she was like, I checked his followers, and you guys do follow each other. And I was like, that is so nuts that she would like guess that.
Yeah.
And so I screenshot it and texted him, and I was like, this is so funny. And he's like, it's funnier when you hear it in person. I'm like, this is true? Is this true? Yeah. This is true. You wrote a bit about my boobs, and he started explaining. He's like, it's funnier when you see it. And then he was like, I'll do it at the Improv if you come. So he came, and it was very funny. But 2 of our listeners messaged me to tell me he had a bit about my boobs.
It is very funny. Like, I knew the premise, and
you've heard it before, the premise.
I mean, well, like, I want to give him credit, because, yeah, I was kind of like, all right, that's not the hottest take. I'm not going to tell his joke, but
the premise is that no men understand why a woman would get a breast reduction,
but
and men wouldn't get a dick reduction. You know, it's an amazing joke.
And then it's about social media and like the comments. I mean, it just took so many turns. I was really loving it, but it's very funny. And so I'm sitting next to this girl at like the comics table, and she's dying. And I was like, this is about my friend, and she's here. And she goes, shut up. I was like, she's sitting right here, and it's the first time she's heard it. And she was like, this is hysterical.
I was like, I can't believe you didn't pause to like tell people I was there. And he was like, I was on a roll. I couldn't do it. But I feel like it would have gotten such a good laugh. But yeah, it was very funny. Well done. I'm so honored. And I love our listeners that they're like, this is about her. This is like millions of people get breast reductions. They're like, this is about her.
I know. It is so funny. They're the CIA. Okay, listen, you know what? While we're talking about bodies,
while we're talking about the CIA,
let's go back to Short King Spring, because we announced it. We didn't come up with it, but we did our announcement last week, and some of the comments on our Instagram post, I just mixed reviews, and they really cracked me up. One woman said, I hate the word short king. Men should never be referred to as kings. They already get too much credit and recognition as it is. Don't give them more to feel confident about. And then another woman said, like, I don't like short guys because they have a Napoleon complex, which I'm like, Putin and Jeff Bezos, like people that have that complex, but that's not all of them. But you know it when you see it. You know a short guy that's trying to compensate. They got like a big truck, and they're like being a Napoleon.
You gotta look out for everything all the time, guys. Tall, short, medium.
So I just wanted to validate that is certainly a thing. But again, we're not talking about those guys. They do exist very much, and they ruin the world, honestly. But they
exist.
Exist? Did I? I'm fucked up. And then it's just some funny ones. Didn't realize my 5'7" man was considered a short king until this week.
People didn't realize that, like, how short we were. Like, I said 5'9", and people were like, that's not short.
So people want to know the heights. Listen, it's, this is not, it's just jokes. Can't stress it enough. I think that 5'9" is the average height for a man. So I think 5'8" to 5'11" is average.
Yeah.
And I think 6 feet, you can say tall. Mm-hmm. And I think 5'7" below, short kings.
You have the Ashley Hesseltine.
But if you're on the cusp, you can go either way.
It depends on how much you insult somebody.
And then this one, okay.
Like 5'8", you could be like, you short motherfucker, or you could be like, my boyfriend is average size.
Exactly. But then this, I thought about this myself. This is not, all right, it's not true. This one got the most likes. It has almost 100 likes. 100% convinced this is Ash Hess propaganda so she can keep all the tall men to herself.
It's not true.
But I'm not out here trying to get all these tall guys. I said it before. Mm-hmm. I just like my height, but I'm tall.
Ashley told me yesterday that she slept with somebody who was 5'8". She did her part.
Are you not? Yeah. Okay. I do think I've talked about this in the podcast. I would say that guy was 5'8.5". If I were to, He might have been skimming 5'9". He was shorter than me, and this was a point in my life where I was in Atlanta. I swear I've told this in the podcast, so sorry to be repetitive, but I don't actually remember because we've done so many of these episodes. But I was in Atlanta. I had realized I hadn't had sex in a year, and I was like, I'm just gonna fuck tonight. Like, I was just on a mission. I was at Smith's Old Bar, this really fun, like, live music bar, and this guy just came up to me, and he was really confident. He had that, like, he was like the fucking construction worker on Love is Blind 2. Like, he was, like, a kind of shorter for me, and he was really into me immediately. I think he had a tall girl thing.
He gave tall energy.
And he had a great face, and I was really into it, and we fucked. And then the next morning, Dewey jumped up in the bed, and when he pet Dewey on the head, his little hand on Dewey's giant head, I was like, no. It was such a teeny hand. And I was like, they were all over me.
No one hates a teeny hand like Ashley.
And he was like, do you want to walk him? I'm like, you need to walk out of here. Like,
you and your teeny hands, get the fuck out of my bed.
But I also have a thing with hands across the board. I love big hands. Like, I like abnormally big hands. So Corey, my best friend Corey's husband, he's 5'10", 5'11". His hands, he should be 6'5". They look like Hulk hands.
You want like mitts.
They look fake on his body. And I love them. I'm like, hands, man.
I love a big hand, but I will say, and I just want to like give a shout out to the men with small hands, it does not correlate to dick size.
Yep, go off, queen.
Thank you.
This is what they need. People need to know.
We had a situation recently with someone who was a little bit shorter and has small hands, and so listen, sometimes you have to give a hand job over the pants just to see what you're working with.
Just to find out.
And even if they have like kind of smaller hands, they can have a perfect dick.
Yes, I love that you said that. I mean,
Thanks.
I think people, usually your hands and feet are kind of tied in together, and there's the whole thing like big feet, big dick, small feet, small dick. Like, it's just doesn't track.
Doesn't always track. I mean, listen, it is like the most scariest anticipation feeling when you hook up with a guy for the first time and you reach your hand in there and you're like, what's gonna happen? Because there's no changing it. It's just like, it's the only thing about somebody's body. You're like, it's never gonna change. Like, and I need it to be a certain way. Like, I don't really care about a huge hog. I'm not out of here. I want boyfriend-sized dick. I want a medium dick. I'm trying to fuck a couple times a day. I want to be able to take it from behind. But like, you can't do anything about it if it's so small.
There was a comic last night, and she had such a funny joke. She was talking about small dick guys, and she was like, I'll date a guy with a small dick, but he better not cheat on me. And she was saying, like, A, you better not cheat on me because you got a small dick. B, I don't want anybody else knowing you got a small dick. I can't stop thinking about it. That is the funniest shit ever. Like, you don't want anyone else to know.
Like, I don't even want like your exes to know. Like, I can't believe you like dated people that know.
We're not body shaming. Listen, we're gonna talk about dicks. We're gonna make dick jokes.
Yeah. And I did my part for the short kings, and I'm just here to say that doesn't mean they have small dicks.
Yeah, and I've said this before too, that dicks that are too large can be a problem in a relationship too. I feel for those guys and the people who fuck them if it's difficult or uncomfortable or painful. I mean, that's not, either end of the spectrum is not ideal.
I have only twice in my life met a dick that was the biggest dick I've ever seen. Why are we talking about this? The biggest dick I ever saw was the dick I lost my virginity to.
That's crazy.
For years we fucked, and I could not take it.
Oh my God.
Like, I couldn't breathe while it was inside of me. It's so painful. And I like a medium dick also because I have an easier time getting off. If my brain is wrestling between I'm in pain.
100%. Like, sometimes it's too big. Why do you want to be in pain?
We're talking about exes crawling back in today. One of the exes we're talking about is the biggest dick ever.
Is it housekeeping?
No, they already cleaned my room. Hi.
They already cleaned it.
I apologize. What?
Oh, would you want me to restock your mini bar?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much. Let me throw this like do not disturb on here.
Raina, did you clean out the minibar?
No,
Baby, I want to restock.
I had one bottle of Whispering Angel, and then someone came over the other night.
$300.
Well, these are all triggered by motion sensors. I had one bottle of Whispering Angel, and then someone came over, had some company, and I had a little white wine.
I mean, the sensors on the minibar have to stop. Last time I stayed here, I had to tell them I didn't drink any of this. I used the fridge. This is my cause now, we need to use the fridge. I like a cold water. So I have a water, I put it in the fridge. Now I'm getting charged. I'm down at the front desk this morning. I had to get another room key. A guy's like, I didn't drink any of this. Like, can we stop it with the sensors, guys? Like, what are we doing? Also, if you do drink it and you replace it, who cares? It's the same shit. Like it's so stupid. Like I know it was. I feel like it started very like Vegas, but like the fact that this hotel has it, I'm like, what? Come on, guys. It's a nice place.
I also feel like hotels since COVID don't have refrigerators anymore. I don't have any place
I hate
to
it.
put my
I need a
food.
fridge.
And so I need to like take the stuff out that triggers the thing, and then I get charged $1 million. I want to like keep my salmon in the fridge. The salmon that I got in the car for the road trip. You guys, I got shrimp, salmon, and scallops for our road trip. I got it at Pike's Place Market. We ate it in the car. It was amazing.
We were
weird.
We were in the car crossing the border into Canada, just chowing down on seafood. It was insane. Truly. I never thought of scallops as a little snack in the car.
It is fucking weird. It's really weird.
But
it was there. It was there, and we liked it.
Yeah, I use the fridge too. It's like annoying. Like I had my water in the fridge, tiny fridge. It was like resting on top of some soda cans. Pulled my water out. Coke can flew out of the fridge, sprayed all over the room. My room is still sticky. It was all over my legs.
It's not the kind of stickiness she likes all over her legs.
In a good way. Today I touched my suitcase. I was like, why is it so fucking sticky? Oh, right, a Coke can. And I was in a fight, flight, or freeze mode because I didn't know what to do. It's spraying everywhere. It hit it it started spraying all over the room, and I just stood there. I didn't know what to do.
I would too.
And finally, I ran away and let it keep spraying. I'm just gonna stand here and get sprayed.
You were blocking the rest of the room. Also, sometimes there's such a mess that you're just like, I don't even know what to do. Like one night I was standing in my kitchen and I had a bottle of Frank's Red Hot in my hand, and I just dropped it. Like, I don't know why. It was one of the big bottles, and it exploded like a bomb of glass and hot sauce.
That is so bad. I mean, I posted this on my Instagram because I did a story about it, just laughing because all I could do was laugh. A giant thing, like 5 pounds of sugar fell over and spilled everywhere.
I would move.
You gotta move. My lease is almost up. I'm moving to LA. Yeah. That's what did it. The sugar?
Yeah, it's the sugar. It's not the weather and the ease of life and the pool we've been at all week.
Yeah. Okay, what else? Finished Bridgerton 2, loved it. People are critiquing there's not as much sex. I didn't care. I fucking loved it. I was living for it, and I loved it. So anyway, just want to give my final review. You haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet, but I also didn't enjoy Bridgerton's. I was turned on by season 1 because of sex, but it's not why I enjoyed Bridgerton season 1. Yeah. I thought it was like a groundbreaking show in terms of like the concept, the casting, the costumes. Like I liked to masturbate to it, of course, like everybody else. I'm a human, but like that's not why I loved it.
Yeah,
so I don't need it.
I was talking to our friend Josh Adam Myers last night, and I don't know how it came up, but he said something jokingly like, "Yeah, when there's like a hot sex scene, you need to like masturbate," and I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What?" I was like, "Are you joking?" I was like, "Yeah, like I'm in the hotel, my vibrator's right there." Like,
what else are we doing?
Yeah,
I've been vibrating just
on
my hand all week. No vibrator.
Manual, acoustic.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget to put my vibrator. Okay, here's my rack. I can't, you guys, this is like big. This is like really big, not for your lives, but for mine. I have not read a fiction book in years.
Oh my God!
And
yes, I'm so glad we're talking about it. I'm so glad you remembered.
I'm so excited because I was like, what am I doing these days? I haven't read a fiction book in years, and I was just like, why can't I like get into anything? Like I feel like I've read so many biographies, think pieces, stuff about like existentialism in the world, blah, 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 whatever. And I read a lot of stuff also for our job because, I mean, Ashley and I just love reading the books from the people that come on our show about love and dating. But Nedra's next to my bed every day.
Nedra's in the bed with you. Yeah.
I met this guy at the pool yesterday, and I told him about Nedra's book. I forgot about it.
I mean, I cannot not bring up Nedra.
This guy came up to me in the pool, and he was telling me that he like tends to date a lot of narcissists, and I was like, I can diagnose you why you do that.
God.
Have you read this book? And it was very funny. He knew who she was, obviously. So I read the book, The Idea of You, and Ashley has like loved it for so many years, and Emily Fedner, our friend, like loved it, and you both were like, if you hate it, don't even fucking tell me. And I was like, why is everybody
I know,
me?
it got a little hostile, because I was like, if you don't like The Idea of You or 7 Days in June, I don't want to hear about it, genuinely. And you were like, relax. I
was like, why are you coming at me?
Jump down your throat.
So I bought 7 Days in June, which I will read, but The Idea of You is about a woman who's 39, and she meets this like British rock star. It's based on Harry Styles, I guess.
We talked about the show.
Yeah, and they fall in love. And it's about their like love affair essentially. And I was so gripped. I read it in like 2.5 days.
Yeah.
It's really
really good job reading.
Thank you so much. I know every time Ashley says good job reading, I'm so happy. There's so many like parts about it that are like LA and New York, like places we've been, and it just was really, it's a special book, and it like made me feel like I like fiction again, and I can like get into a story, because I've always felt like I don't care about these things if they didn't really happen, but it makes you feel all these feelings about your own life.
Yeah, and so it's The Idea of You by Robin Lee. You guys always ask me, Robinne Lee, Lee, and it's one of my absolute favorite books. We talked about it. I think we talked about it in 2019. Grace and Becca from Bad on Paper. Well, now Grace is no longer with the podcast, but they recommended to us, and everyone loves it. And I remember, I don't want to give anything away. If you want to skip ahead, if you're like, you think you're going to interpret the ending by what I'm going to say, but I'm not going to give it away. But the ending does rip your heart out, and like I could cry right now thinking about it. I laid in bed and I just sobbed for like an hour, and I kind of forgot. I remembered it. Of course I remembered it, but I forgot how she says it. Last page of the book, we were in the car. We were about to cross into Canada. We were having scallops, and Raina finished it, and you didn't want to give it away because Bella hadn't read it yet. And then I go, let me read that last page again. And I burst into tears.
Ashley, it was shocking. The look that came over your face, you like fully burst into tears.
Like it all came back to me. Like no book has gutted me that much. And the way she writes it, I have full body chills just even thinking about it. And like there's no acknowledgments at the end. They're in the beginning. So like it's just the last page of this book. And it is unbelievable. Like I felt it in my soul, and
I know,
burst into tears like all over again.
It's also like, it's the most like, don't ever look at the last page. If you buy this book, if the last page is like 5 sentences, don't ever flip to that last page. I mean, she tells you it's not a secret that like a relationship between a 20-year-old and a 39-year-old is going to be a struggle, and she says that at page 1. Basically.
Yeah.
But you can't flip to the last page.
Okay. We need to talk about something that happened.
What?
2 of our exes hard launched their new girlfriends within 5 hours of each other.
You guys, it is like all of our exes are in a Facebook group just ready to fuck with us, and they like coordinated this attack together.
I mean, these are people we don't care about. Like, obviously, I don't. Well, no. Like, I don't still have feelings for any of my exes. It's like I wish them well. So it's not like oh my God, being upset. It's like funny. And I check in on this particular ex every once in a while.
I check in on them every day.
But I didn't even know. So we were at dinner, and Kate was like, did you see his new girlfriend? I was like, excuse me? And then we had known that your ex had hard launched too. And I was like, what? And then I looked at the timestamps 5 hours apart.
It's fucking crazy. Like, what are the odds that this could happen on the same day? Like, it could not happen. It would not happen. 2 people found love and hard launched on the same day. They used to date us. This is crazy.
I know.
And I'm with you also. Like, we're going to talk about exes and having people crawl back in and sort of just like closure and whether you not want to talk to those people. Almost all of my exes I would say all of them. I have no ill feelings towards any of them. I don't want to see some of them. But like these 2 exes in particular, we're happy for them. We don't care. Literally couldn't care less.
Sorry, I was taking a drink, yeah.
We want them to be happy. They're nice people. But like, how the fuck did this happen?
We like that they're dating people on their level. Whatever. No one knows what we're talking about.
It's crazy because I was saying to you, like, I was trying to identify the primary feeling, and I was like, it's a weird thing to like been in love with a person, you see that they're with somebody else, and like to not feel anything. Mm-hmm. Like I felt nothing. I was just like, well, that's nice for him. Like, go ahead. And then a couple hours later, you were just putting me to the same situation.
I know. I mean, listen, we're gonna talk some shit. There's no woman on this earth that is not just zooming in, seeing how you can pick shit apart.
Listen, his new girlfriend has my attention now.
Yes.
If you're always like, I wonder if his ex knows about me, she does. She's gone through all your pictures. She knows every single thing about you, as do I. Okay?
Yeah.
She has now made it to my Finsta search.
Yeah, that's so funny. Like, new girlfriend and old girlfriend know a lot about each other. They have an intimate relationship that neither person, like, without communicating directly.
Also, in my defense, she probably knows way more about me because she probably got in there first. I didn't know about her until 5 seconds ago.
Right, yeah.
You
got to make up for lost time.
He soft launched for a couple days, and I was like, Ashley, I think this is the new girlfriend.
Oh, right.
And then he really
went
hard
launched. Yeah.
But he hard launched. He's a hard launcher. I was like, I think I'm gonna hard launch us today. He was like, fuck it, I'll hard launch today too. I'm like, I bet you will.
You're coordinated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was insane.
Good luck to you guys. You know.
And to your girlfriends up to date, Honestly, what I want to say to them is better you than me. Good luck out there, fam.
Good luck out there.
And honestly, if I see you liking one of my photos from 2 years ago, just know that I'm fist bumping you, and I understand it.
We've all been there. Yeah, that's so true. Oh my gosh.
Anything he says about me, it's 50% true.
Yeah.
All the good stuff is true.
What does Rob say? Believe half of what you... I'm never going to get this right. It's half of what you hear, all of what you... It doesn't matter. Anyway, let's talk about exes. You guys get it.
So this episode is really inspired because Ashley and I have sort of randomly had a couple of exes crawl back in for different reasons and different levels of seriousness in our lives. And so we were talking about the appropriate response and do you respond and how long do you take to do it and like what are the feelings that come up and ultimately just deciding like what do I want out of this interaction in general. And you did something I was really impressed by in terms of take your time. You'll talk about it, but I think this can be like a very scary thing when you sort of like put a relationship to bed and you see that person's name pop up in your phone and all of a sudden it sets into motion so many thoughts and feelings of like, what am I going to do?
I mean, I've had this happen a lot. And like, I've had situations too, mainly in particular, where I dated someone seriously and like was sure I would never hear from them again. But like, there's always that thing in the back of your head. You're like, will I? And I did. Like, they always come back is such a quote. I always say that Allison, Rob's wife, says that. Like, they always come back. Like, they do a lot of the times.
I say to all my friends, because I've had a lot of friends everybody does, that felt like they didn't get what they would call closure. And closure is different for everybody, and you can argue whether it even exists and when we can ever have it. But so many friends of mine are like, I don't feel like I got the closure I want. Sometimes you need like a year or 2 years, and like they do come back, and you can decide whether or not you want to have those conversations. Some are more toxic than others, but like, yeah, people do come back, and I think sometimes you just do need like the actual time and space to process how you feel before you can even have those conversations. Like when things are so charged and so horrible, it's just really hard to be honest because you don't even know how you feel.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about it, but I want to read you my list of why exes come back. Okay. So they're coming back because there's so many fucking reasons to come back. Here are the reasons why your ex could come back to you. They want to fuck you. They miss you and want to connect with you, but they're just lonely or horny and don't actually want you back. They're feeling low and bad about themselves and they want attention or an ego boost. They want you back. We did an episode, Should You Get Back With Your Ex? So you guys can reference that for the actual, like, should you get back with your ex? They want to be friends or they want emotional support. They're jealous because you're with somebody new. They want to genuinely apologize or clear something up and explain and potentially give you closure that you may have wanted before. This can often be after they've gone to therapy or they've had an eye-opening relationship or some big life change. Or it could be both of these things. They want to genuinely apologize and they want you back, or they want to absolve themselves and feel like they're not a bad guy and it's purely self-serving.
I love this list. Every single bullet gave me so many feelings, and there's such a huge range from like really selfish and insidious to like people that really felt like they fucked you up in a terrible way, like my ex-fiance, which talking about that like really just wants to like suck the poison out and apologize to you, and they don't want anything from you. So it's such a huge range, and I think that like we evaluate these things based on where we are emotionally and how much you need this or want this or it's gonna fuck you up. And let's just like listen, we all want these conversations, whether you want to admit it or not. It feels really fucking good to hear I fucked up and this is all my fault.
Who doesn't want like validation?
Yes. And everybody wants to hear it. Whether or not you can deal with it is a case-by-case basis, and it will fuck you up a little bit. Like there's nobody that doesn't like. I think sometimes we've had these situations and you're like, it's going to be fine. It's like, it's never going to be totally fine. You will ruminate on it. You're allowed to feel like this stings again. This has ripped a wound open I've just closed up a long time ago. Like everybody feels like that. But I love your list.
Well, I mean, it's just
let's talk about them.
There's like, you have to figure out what the reason is. Like, I think it depends, there's so many different levels of how serious your relationship was, how well you think you know this person. I mean, this can run the gamut of like, you had a really hot and heavy couple of months and this person really meant something to you and things fell apart and now they're coming back for more and just to fuck you up all over again. Or this could be something that you dated for years. It could be something you were married to. So there's just so many different levels. I mean, you have to read between the lines and trust your gut, and it can be hard to tell sometimes. I think you can usually figure out they just want to fuck or they're just lonely. I think you can figure out if they're like,
Sunday feels.
Sunday feels. Yeah, think about did you just post something on Instagram? Did you post a thirst trap? Like, always think of what could have motivated it, if it's like sexually motivated or just like horny motivated. I think you can tell if they're just going through a bad time and they're feeling very victim-y and they're upset and they just need like that emotional support, especially if they don't have it at a lot of their places in their life, or they want to be your friend.
If they've gone through a breakup recently.
Yeah.
You know, and they're trying to like make you heal the bullet wound.
I think that when it happens, you have to take the time and process how you feel. Like, I had an ex reach out to me, the Raina referenced earlier, and like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like my immediate reaction was, wow, this is the thing that every girl wants to hear from their ex. And then I read between the lines and I didn't actually like what I felt like he was trying to say a week later. Like, I really had to ruminate on it, figure out how I felt, come up with the appropriate response. Like, you owe these people no urgency. Like, this relationship is over. You don't have to respond at all if you don't want to. Like, you protect yourself, your energy, draw your boundaries. You don't have to respond, or you can wait. Like, the second it happens, the second that text comes in or that email or the phone call or whatever it is, or they show up, I mean, I don't know if that would happen, but you tell yourself immediately, I don't have to react about this right now. I don't even know how I feel. It's going to take days. It could take weeks. Like, figure out how you feel, because I think that women have such, a gut feeling of like, what's actually going on here.
Mm-hmm. I think everything you said is really valid, and it's like exactly what the notes I wrote out. Like, as soon as you see that person's name and you read the message, I would just pause and be like, I don't owe this person anything. I don't have to. They decided to crawl back in for whatever reason, and I deserve the time to figure out what that means. I deserve to think about, how do I feel and how is it going to feel if I open the door again to this person, and to craft a response that you feel good about. And I always say, like, think backwards for what you want. Like, do you just really want closure from this person? Is an apology really going to feel good? And then you can close the door on something you felt really shitty about, then yeah, maybe do it. But I think you have to take your time, and something happened with you or somebody reached out and you didn't respond for a few days, and just like me, your feelings about it changed every day or so. And I think that sometimes you take a step back, because when it first happens, you're like, this feels good. Someone wants to apologize to me, their name is here, they're reaching out, but then you're like, all right, let me read between the lines here.
Yeah.
What is the point of this?
And what prompted it?
Yes.
And like, what emotions did they go through to even reach out to me in the first place? Because this door has been closed for a while now. A response, if you feel like you owe this person a response, you want a response, can literally be, I appreciate it. Like, that's it. Like, it's just, again, like, I don't know how your relationship ended. I mean, I guess there's a situation in which you broke someone's heart and they're reaching back out to you. That's not necessarily what we're talking about today. Every situation is different, but you can simply just say, thank you. Or not.
I think no response is a response. I think I appreciate this, thank you, no further questions is a response. I am not a neuroscientist, although I like to fashion myself as one. The amount of chemicals that flood your brain when you see that person's name pop up on your phone, and whatever it is that they say, which is probably going to be kind, open, sympathetic, empathetic, all of the things that rush into your brain, like, give your brain a minute to calm down. Your brain needs to calm down. And you can say of course it's going to be nice. Everyone's going to be nice when they first reach out. Like, but say to yourself after a day or two, am I really mad about this? Is this fucking bullshit? Does this conversation need to be had? And you've coined like this apology tour, and I love it. And I think that, like, I've had people just do really shitty things to me that I didn't have like a super deep relationship with. They just did something I didn't think was nice, and they've reached out to be like, let's have a conversation, or I'm sorry. And I remember saying to this one guy, he like wanted to meet for coffee after really fucking with me very badly. And I said, I don't see how this would change my life in any way. And I'm all set. I appreciate the message, and we can go about our lives. It's not going to change my life to put this to bed in any way.
100%.
I'm going to let you back in my life. You're going to keep fucking with me, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
When I think somebody just sort of fucked with me, acted like a little fuckboy, they did stuff I didn't deserve, it was really unfair, and I think that that's who you are as a person. For me, I just don't need to like lean into the interaction. I think that's like pretty simple and easy. Like, it feels good when somebody was like unfairly shitty to you and it wasn't that deep, and they're like, I'm sorry. Great. I'm glad you're sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I had this happen. I talked about it on the podcast when it was happening, where this person reached out to me, and we really did not have what I would call a relationship. We had like a flirtation. I felt like he was kind of a fuckboy. We kind of made some plans. It fell through. I just started to see right through him and decided to not talk to him anymore. Like, and he reached out and wanted to like meet in person. He was in New York, and this was like the apology tour I speak of, where he just wanted to absolve himself. And there's this concept of guys not wanting to feel like a bad guy. They want to feel like a nice guy. They don't want anyone to think of them poorly or in a bad light, especially someone like us who has like a platform and things like that. And he's in a similar industry as me, so I'm not someone I think he wants to piss off. But this is years past. I did not give a fuck. This is like before COVID. Like, I didn't give a fuck at all. I went like to see what was all about, but I very easily could have been like, I'm all set. I do not need to waste my energy on this. And you can 100% do that. And you can also be like, you want to meet me? Why? Like, I'm busy. I got a lot going on. Why do you want to meet me? Tell me now. Call me on the phone or tell me in a text. Like, so I think that you can recognize that if it feels misplaced. Like, why'd you reach out to me? It's been years and we never even fucked, you know? So I feel like if it feels misplaced and you're wondering why the fuck does this person want to talk to me, you might be on their apology tour. And you can also, you know, you can go for one drink and leave, and you don't have to give them your energy. Like, the second you feel like that's what it's about. And I think that what you'll hear, like some of the signs that you're on that is like, it's not for you, it's for them.
Well,
and
it's a
like,
self-improvement journey.
Like, I think it can sound a lot like, I didn't want you to think this of me. Like, it feels like it's self-serving. It's not about you. It's about them. Like, those are the words they use. Like, I just didn't want you to think I was this, or I just didn't want you to, I don't want this image in anyone's head. Like, I'm doing this to protect my own image. And so that's what I don't want. And I'm not doing it anymore. Unless it's like, I feel like I want to go for the content, you know?
I think that a lot of guys, especially really good-looking ones who are maybe a little younger and mature, fucked around with all these girls, do grow up and they want to like apologize and absolve themselves, and they're on this like self-improvement journey. I don't need to be on it with you. Especially if it's been years, especially if we didn't have a relationship that was that deep. Like, what equity do we build in this relationship that I need to be a part of this for you? You don't like that I am out in the world telling people this is bullshit and I dated him and fuck that guy. You just don't like that. And I think it's really nice to grow up and become an adult and realize I treated people poorly and I don't like that. We can solve that with a text message. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I feel no need to absolve you of these things because this is for you. And not for me.
I had a situation where someone who I felt like did something really shitty to me, like came up to me in person, like randomly at a bar, and I was just like, did not want this at all. The waste, get out of my space. Like, I don't want it.
I don't want it. I don't care to make you feel better. It's not my job to do this. Like, especially if we didn't have a relationship that was really deep and special. Like, I understand that two people in an intimate relationship do shit to each other that's not nice. And yes, we can spend a year apart, come back, unpack that together, and I'm happy to do that. But like, I don't really even know you that well, and you did something shitty to me that I didn't deserve. I don't need to be here to make you feel better.
I know. And it's funny because when I was with that guy, the one that like I actually had a drink with, I don't know if he wanted. Here's the thing, there was always like, are you doing this and you just want to apologize and have a certain outcome about the way someone perceives you, or do you want to like get back with them, hook up with them, fuck them? I'm not sure. I didn't really get that energy, but I wasn't interested regardless, so I didn't care. Like, every once in a while you can be like, this person kind of did something shitty to me, they want to meet up, but listen, I'm trying to fuck, and you can do it,
right?
You know what I mean? I don't know if he was like, I missed out on that and I'm going to see if she's interested in it again, but I don't care. You know, I couldn't really tell. The vibe felt kind of flirty, but I didn't care. I was like, I gotta go.
I think that you just have to pause again, take some time and take notes of your progress from who you used to be when you were dating that person or sleeping with that person. Remember why things ended and how it felt in that moment, and say to yourself, do I need this energy in my life? Does this matter literally at all? And I think the majority of situations is probably somebody that you dated comes back and they want some kind of closure. And those are really tough situations, I think, to deal with somebody that you had a much more intimate relationship with. So I had a situation. I've had like a bunch of these situations recently.
They always come back. That's the episode title. They always come back. I mean, like, we've all dealt with this. Like, it's such a thing.
Yes. I think you just have to really be honest with yourself about how this is going to make you feel. Years ago, and I've talked about this 100 times on the podcast, so I'm not going to get into it super deeply. I'll talk about a more current situation. But my ex-fiance did slide in years ago. We hadn't spoken for years. I went and met him for dinner. It was really sad and moving, and we cried a lot.
I was fucked up about it. We were like new friends, and I was like, what's going to happen?
He left me in a pretty horrible way, and I did think about it for years, and it was really painful, and it was hard for me to let it go. Even though day to day I let it go, I was in a lot of pain, and he asked me to get dinner, and he apologized and said, you know, I've thought about this for years, and I'm sorry. And the tone of it was very much like, I just want to apologize. I'm not looking for a redemption, and I'm not looking to get back together. It felt very healthy and honest and not selfish, and I wanted it too. And it fucked me up for the short term because you think about it a lot, but in the long term, it released me from a lot of feelings, and I'm really glad that I did it because I needed that. Other people that were a little more toxic in your life, I would maybe think twice about, and I had an ex reach out last week. I will say I sort of provoked the conversation. It was my ex that I said I called out of the blue. I was trying to see if he died. So I did open the door. So I want to just be honest about the fact that like this was not completely unprovoked. But he called me out of the blue on like a Friday afternoon and basically was like, I want to talk and I want to be honest. And he proceeded to say some of the most, I thought in the moment, meaningful, touching, honest, vulnerable things I've ever heard him say to me. And he told me why he had fucked with me so badly over the years and how sad he was about it. And he was like, you're the person, like, you're the one. Is there a way to ever make this work? And like, can we get around these obstacles? And it was really nice and kind. And he said those things that you want to hear, like, all the problems we had and the fights we had were my fault. And I picked them with you. And he gave me reasons for them. And I believe that this was genuine, and I believe that he meant those things, but I haven't heard from him since. And he kind of ambushed me a little bit. I didn't get like a warning shot for this, so I just let him talk, and I tried to like not get so heated, and I just sort of was like, these problems are always going to exist between us, and you know that, and there's no magic wand to save these things. And he was like, do you want to keep talking? And I was like, I can think about it. And that was sort of that. And at first I was fine, and then it fucked me up, and I went through this whole cycle of being like really sad and then really angry and then feeling like this isn't a big deal. I can lean into this. We can talk. And I cycled through a lot of it before I said anything to him. And then I finally just said like, you know, thank you for the call. And that was really vulnerable. And I'm sure it wasn't easy to say those things to me. And I appreciate it. And I don't think that my response elicited an open door. Which is how I feel like now I want it. Like, I feel like you and I talked about it. I talked to my friends. You talk to your friends about how you feel about all these things. Always.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes your friends are the reminder of what the relationship looked like. Like, call your best friend immediately and, like, have them offer the perspective that you sometimes can't see from when you're from the inside. I mean, it's such a huge thing. I mean, we talked about this with that guy. Like, that guy... nothing's changed. And this was like the main thing that we talked about with the episode, Should You Get Back With Your Ex, which I don't know when that was. Was it 2020?
It's July 13th, 2020. Should you get back with your ex? And that'll cover all kinds of stuff, like should you reach out, and if they reach out and stuff, if you want to get back together.
Yeah. We talked about it, like, have things changed? And it's so interesting because your ex-fiance was really not a bad person. He wasn't a narcissist. It wasn't toxic. Like, you had a multitude of issues that you know, were a lot younger and that you couldn't really see. And you've like reflected on a lot of like what the way you made him feel and vice versa. And like, but he wasn't this bad guy. He didn't manipulate you. So it's a lot easier to sit down with that person and like hear them out. And I had an ex that really is kind of always a victim, and he reached back out to me, and nothing was different. It was still that same mentality. Like, it wasn't like I was considering getting back with him, but I was like, nothing's changed. Like, this is still the same person. Like, the guy that you said called you, like, even if you were to give him another chance, which wasn't on the table or something that you wanted to do, nothing would have changed. Like, yeah, he's like, I did all these things. I felt these ways. I picked these fights with you. It would have been the same shit. Like, yes. I'm glad that he was aware enough and realized it, but that's the thing. And I had a situation with an ex of mine where we were always long distance, and then he moved to Atlanta. He messaged me, and we'd always talked off and on. We had met in college. We were always off and on for years, long distance, and we hadn't spoken in quite some time, and I didn't really know what he was up to. And I got this email from him one day, and he was like, just want to let you know that I'm moving to Atlanta with my girlfriend, which a little bit was like a dagger to the heart because I was like, you never moved here for me, but okay. And he was like, his opening email was like, I just felt like you should know I would love for us to catch up and like have lunch as friends, but she is like jealous basically in so many words. And I was like, this is never going to last. I mean, already I can tell. And he started to kind of like text me here and there. And then I can't remember exactly. This was so long ago, but bottom line, one day I had not provoked anything. He mostly had. He didn't cross a line, but he was just like touching base with me here and there in like a friendly way. And then out of the blue, I got this email from him that like felt like she wrote it herself. That was like, I cannot talk to you anymore. Leave me alone. Like it was like, it felt like it wasn't even in his voice. I was like, this is fucked up. And basically, I mean, I was like a lot younger then and more less mature. And I was like, yeah, fuck you. Like, bye. And then he reached out to me maybe a year or so later. And he was like, I cannot apologize enough. I was in a really bad place. You were a problem in this relationship because I clearly still had feelings for you. And she knew you were in the city and it was just a jealousy thing. And I felt like she probably caught him talking to me, and he was like, I just cannot apologize to you enough. I'm about to move from Atlanta, but I want to meet up. And like, I got beers with him because he was like a nice guy and I heard him out and like, we kind of got back together. Like I felt like with so many years had passed and like, I was like, let's try this again. Cause I always had such strong feelings for him, and we ended up giving it another try, and we went to a wedding together, and he spent Thanksgiving with my family actually. And it didn't work out in the long term. I knew that just like wasn't my person. I've talked about him a couple different times in the podcast, but it was like, I heard him out and I did miss him, and we did give it another try, and I have no regrets, you know? And he was like, I was in a dark place and I lashed out at you and I'd like to explain myself.
I think that most people aren't bad people. I think that most people look back at breakups and they're not proud of their behavior, and they're not proud of showing the worst parts of themselves to the people that they loved the most. And I think that most people aren't proud of how they acted when they were growing up and acting like little shitheads. And I think ultimately you just have to ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of this interaction and how is it going to make me feel? Like when my ex-fiance reached out, it was so clear he just felt terrible and he wanted to apologize. That was the only reason, and I thought it was genuine. But my other ex that reached out and was like, I want to give this a try, like, then you have to have those really honest conversations with yourself. Like, like you said, has anything changed? Is anything going to be different here? Because like, it's going to hurt a lot to open this wound up and talk about how you made me feel. And I'm going to feel a lot of feelings finally hearing from this person, it was my fault. I did this on purpose. You weren't crazy. I did gaslight you. It drums up a lot of feelings. The feeling of like, oh my God, I was right. It will allow you to excuse a lot of behavior, I think, sometimes, because you're like, it's so introspective, it's so honest, they're being so open. Maybe it is different this time, and it fucks you up, and it fucked me up. Like, even though this guy, I know we're never going to get back to, we can sleep together and be fine. We're not going to, the things that are wrong in our relationship, we don't want to live in the same place. We don't want the same kind of lifestyle. That's never going to change. I'm never going to stop making him feel a certain way. And so, like, hearing all those things after all those years meant like so much to me, because I was like, you have fucked with me so badly for so many years. And yes, of course I knew the reason, but hearing you say it feels really good. But it's not enough to, number one, excuse the behavior because I didn't deserve it. And there's no happy ending here. It's not, I can excuse it and we're going to start talking again every day.
Right.
And
like,
it's like Emily said, like the story is different, but the ending is the same. Like it's never going to be different. We're not going to end up together.
Yeah, I know. And I just think that's like the most important thing to think, because you can sometimes get wrapped up in this like really powerful feeling of validation. And then you're like, this is the same person. They haven't explained to me why they've changed or why they, you know, what has gone on. And that's what I said earlier. Like a lot of the stuff can come after they have had some big life change. It could be something like a death, or they just decided to go to therapy, or they had another relationship that maybe reminded you weren't so bad.
All those things will rock a person to their core.
Yeah.
A breakup is like, it will shake you to your core and change you forever. And it makes most of us think about the last person we were with and what was that like. And that person was better than my last person, better than this person who made me feel so shitty. And I think it just, when these people slide in, they are going to be on their best behavior. They are going to say the nicest, most complimentary things. Everyone is going to be the absolute best version of themselves. You just have to keep reminding yourself, has anything changed?
Yeah. And, you know, if this is I mean, again, we did a whole deep dive on this, like, should you get back with your ex? I mean, some people are more impulsive than others. I think you grow up and you're like, I want to text my ex, but I'm not going to because I have more self-control and this is going to fuck everything up. And I'm not just going to act on this like horny feeling or this lonely feeling or this jealous feeling. And like, I would never do that. I'm really I know what what it does to reach out to certain people, and I'm not doing it for their own sake, you know, sometimes, especially like one ex that I speak of, where I'm just like, I can't open the door, or he'll come like flooding in, and I have to like draw these boundaries. But I think if you feel like it's genuine and you want to entertain it, potentially getting back together or friendship, whatever you may want, like make them work for it, you know, because see if that was just an impulse, see if that was just I saw your bikini pic, or I saw you with someone else, or I was just feeling down and out, or something, my dog died. Like, see if it was just an impulse, or if they're actually interested in rekindling, because they'll keep trying. People will go after what they want, you know? So, you know, one text, one call, one email, whatever it is, like, make them try harder.
And I love that you talked about paying attention to the language that people use when they're doing this, because I had somebody who I know clearly wants to be in my life very much, and I don't think he's like super proud of his behavior. He knows he hurt me, and he did apologize, and I like those discussions, but the verbiage was very much like, I'm sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry you were so hurt. I didn't hear a lot of accepting responsibility for his own behavior and explaining why those things happened, and certainly why it wasn't going to be different in the future. So I think we just have to look out for the ways that people say something and not be so fogged up and cloudy just by having the conversation. Like, how are they apologizing? How is this self-serving? And I think language is really important, and I think you can decipher a lot from it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we covered most of it.
Yeah.
So we asked you guys on Instagram, what are the craziest ways you've had exes resurface?
I thought I had heard it all.
Creative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I'd really heard it all, but we got a lot of stuff.
I feel a little inspired by a meme I saw that someone had said that their ex, they had shared a Netflix, and she hadn't kicked him off yet, and he went in and changed like the name of his Netflix profile to "Can We Talk?" Which is just, if you logged in your Netflix and it was like "Can we talk?" I'd be like, oh my god. Have you had exes reach out in crazy ways?
Nothing as creative as this, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just like the typical meme of like, when they know that you're happy, they're like, hi, can I ruin that for you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if anybody like did anything like really crazy, but no. I mean, my one ex just reaches out every week with a meme and a text or something, and I didn't respond for 2 years, and then I invited him to a show.
Oh yeah, that ex.
But
yeah.
nothing crazy. Have you?
I mean, my ex and I were, it was so volatile and toxic. We would block each other all the time, but he could email me. Like I never blocked him on email. Also, we lived a mile away. He just would drive over. And more like I would drive over there. I was the one showing up on
I've done crazy shit.
Busting in his door. He was recording a podcast. I was like, are you dating somebody? Tell me now. He's like, I gotta go. Like, he was recording a podcast.
He has this recorded?
I've lost it. Oh my God, I never even thought that could be on Zoom or whatever. This was pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. It's
whatever people were using before that.
Did you ever borrow someone else's car to just go stalk your ex? Like park out front and wait? That's not me sliding in. That's just me being crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've done drive-bys. Like, I feel like in college, especially, like, stalking a guy that you liked, it would be like, let's take your car, not mine. And I would, like, duck down.
Yeah, you duck down. It's like, they know your best friend's car. They're like, bitch, I know who's in there.
But so many of these were, like, Venmo-related and just, like, the different ways you can get in touch with somebody.
Yeah, my exes, none of them are creative, I guess. They can't even slide back in a good way.
I mean, this is very, like, some of these are just finding an excuse or a reason to reach out, but some of them are like they've been blocked and everything else. So I feel like you haven't had situations where you needed to do I mean, the blocking and stuff, I mean, it's kind of childish, and I say that as someone who had a relationship like that. Like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're having to block people unless you're doing it for self-preservation. Like, you don't want to see it, but like when you're blocking each other and they got to reach out via Venmo and all this stuff, it's like it's crazy. And I say that with love. It's not like how mature adults act, but we've all been there.
As you get older, you just get a little less crazy. I mean, I would hope. Like, I was doing crazy shit, like flying up to the bar. I'd like my car would just be up on the sidewalk. I'd like run in. Yeah. Car was still running. I'd be like, you.
I mean, you just get hopped up on adrenaline.
Yeah, but as I get older, I realize it doesn't benefit anybody. No one's happy.
I don't know that girl. Like, the girl that just like came in so hot, pulled up into the driveway on 2 wheels, busted in the door.
You're having an out-of-body experience. You're above your body.
Feels
like,
yes.
Bitch, stop.
Yes, like, who am I?
I only had one really toxic relationship, and I was 21 or 22. Since then, all my exes are just like the typical, like, I miss you.
Yeah. And of course, like, we'll get into it, but there's always like the happy birthday, stuff that's the excuses to reach out.
How do you feel about, we'll get into these in 2 seconds. How do you feel about the happy birthday?
My ex that I mentioned earlier that like he had moved to Atlanta for someone else. He reached out. We tried again. We did that for years and then it just stopped. I mean, I know that he is married and it just, once we ended it for good, that ended. That stopped, like the happy birthday. But there were a few years there where it was just, that's the only time we talk, you know, in like March and July.
I don't want it. I don't like it. I feel like it's a good day for me. It's a nice, important day for me. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want you in my airspace. It's going to fuck me up all day. I don't want it.
Yeah, I had a guy friend that asked, like, consulted me on whether he should send that text, and I knew that he really kind of fucked this girl up and blindsided her, and I was like, don't do it.
I think that guys are like, but it's her birthday. No, it's not nice. It's not nice. I don't want to hear from you. Like, my ex was celebrating something in December, a really big milestone for himself, and I thought about texting him because I genuinely wanted to do something nice, and then I was just like, I don't need to fuck his day up.
I know, that's the thing. Like, it can just be kind of, it's misplaced and selfish.
It's self-serving.
Like, do they want to hear from you on their birthday? Like, I remember my ex, like, lighting me up because he thought I was with this dude on my birthday. I was in New York. I was on a boat. It was my first birthday party in New York, and he's, like, just yelling at me via text. I was like, this sucks. You're the worst.
Oh my God, wait, I did have an ex slide in a crazy way. Okay, then we're gonna move on, I promise you guys. I think I probably said this on the podcast. My ex-fiance, I hadn't heard from him in probably, a year, and we were walking on stage in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
About to go perform in front of my dad for the first time ever. Big day. One of the biggest shows we probably ever done at that date, and I hadn't done, I mean, you've been a comedian for years, I had not been on stage that many times, and he hit me with the, like, I just smelled your perfume in a room.
Crazy.
Fucked me up.
That is so crazy. The perfume is along the lines of, did I just see you? I thought I just saw you on the street.
I don't want it either. If you're out of my life, I don't need you to like casually check in. I need like a grander gesture that's like, I've been thinking about this for a long time. I want to apologize to you for something. Or I don't need small talk check-ins. It feels disingenuous. It feels like it doesn't respect the fact that like we broke up and this was shitty.
Yeah, and it's over.
Yeah, and then this is over.
Yeah. Okay. But then, I mean, there are those relationships that you stay friends and it's fine. You do this happy birthday thing. Your other partners know that you're
for friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, I need you to honor the fact that like we broke up, it was shitty for me, and like I'm not trying to like chit-chat with you.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 minutes ago we said we're going to start reading these.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just run through these. Creative ways that exes have checked back in. Followed me on Yelp.
You can have Yelp followers.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
There's Yelp influencers. How many followers do you have on Yelp? So crazy.
I'm a mega influencer on Yelp. DMing me, how are you, immediately after posting with his new girlfriend.
That's crazy.
Sent me $5 on Cash App to say he loved me after I blocked him everywhere else. Lots of people do that. Chase Pay.
It's funny the amount. Because can you do like a penny or like $1?
I think you can do $1. 5 is nice. At least it's like a substantial.
Get a coffee.
I can buy a coffee with it.
Exactly.
Had his current girlfriend message me for a threesome.
Is that
I don't even believe this. That sounds crazy to me. He messaged my stepdad on LinkedIn. My ex bought my entire Amazon wish list and sent it to my mom's house. Honestly, I don't hate it.
I mean,
at least it's a gift.
Yeah.
All right, and then guy I briefly dated in high school copied my tattoo and tagged me in the Instagram post.
That is so crazy. Funny. But she said briefly dated, like it's not a serious ex. That would be so crazy. What if that was like your first love and he's like, got your same tattoo? Let me tag you for the inspo. Okay, this is funny. Venmo request, not even a payment, a request. That's
hysterical.
Bold.
Bella does that, I feel.
You pay me. Bella requests me when she has to go like do stuff for me.
No, she told me 2 exes paid her. I forgot why.
Oh, she had guys do it. Okay.
We'll follow up when we have her on the show.
Yeah, she's not in the room right now. Venmoing me money for our old favorite gelato shop. What? Go have some ice cream and think about us. My ex has applied to every job I've worked for since we broke up.
That is funny. Imagine walking to your job and your ex is just like in the conference room with your boss.
Or like I wonder what kind of jobs they have. Like, are these like corporate jobs or like restaurant jobs? She's like, here he is at the Olive Garden. He's a busboy here now.
He's like, Ashley, people have to work.
It's very funny because no one could do this to us. What if our exes applied to work here?
No one could do this to us.
No, like we get a resume from our exes wants to work for GGE Productions.
I'm like, haven't you already gotten enough money from me? Now to employ you.
Okay, mailed me a tacky art mug, no idea why, and a 7-page handwritten letter. Have you ever gotten a handwritten letter? I've gotten long emails, but handwritten.
Well, I got that 4-page PDF. that was a love letter.
The PDF?
He PDF'd it. It was crazy.
That is wild, yeah.
We also didn't think it was like that crazy at the time.
I did. I was dying. That was right around my birthday. I was like, I cannot believe this motherfucker PDF'd it. Save as PDF.
I know what day it was. July 5th.
So you can't edit it. Handwritten. That's intense. I mean, that means something. That's a lot of time and effort, and like I'm assuming this person like wanted her back. Okay, the classic sending me the on this day memories. Oh my gosh.
Shut up.
Birthday text for 4 years after we broke up. Showed up to my grandma's funeral and liking my Venmo transactions. That is so funny. That's
Liking
such a
is
little
so
like
funny.
you're like a little gnat. You're like just liking it.
I know. I like it when like someone like goes out to dinner with their girlfriend and you like it. Like, that's so funny. I'm like, buzz, I'm still here. He started quote unquote accidentally having his flight confirmations sent to me. That is so funny, but only when it was in my city. That is so funny.
What does he mean accidental? Like when he
put
booked
her
on
email
Delta,
address.
he put her email?
Yeah. And you can have like backup confirmations sent to other people. Like I send my dad my confirmations.
Okay,
Because he wants them.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is so fucking funny. Honestly, I respect it. He keeps looking at my LinkedIn 6 years later.
That's so funny.
We were just talking.
We were just looking at someone's LinkedIn.
That doesn't mean they love you. They want to know like how badly you're doing in life.
I wasn't logged in though. He'll never know.
Oh, good for you.
I looked at his LinkedIn to remind myself
that you're better than him.
Well,
asking if I wanted to read his master's statement 3 years later, so they were like in college together, I guess. After I blocked him on everything else, he messaged me through my dog's Instagram.
that is so funny. I saw a few of those. Like the dog's Instagram was the gateway.
Yeah, we don't want to hear from you. If you're blocked, don't hit up another Instagram account.
We've been blocked by a dog.
Yeah, we have.
We're gonna go down that road.
blocked by a dog.
You got because of me. Like the dog blocked
I didn't
you.
even deserve it. Okay, it had nothing to do with
know
me.
these people.
I know. You really don't want to talk to me. If like you have blocked your ex's, your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend's friend from the dog. That is wild. Through my sister wishing her a Merry fucking Christmas. It is really cringe when you reach out to people's family. I hate it. And like if an ex of mine ever reached out to my brother, I would hope my brother would be like, don't ever talk to me.
No, I hate it too. Every situation is different. I mean, you know, what if you're like Kris Jenner and Scott Disick? Like that's like his mom. They have kids together.
Yeah.
Different, but like, you know, it's you have the right or you don't. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there are couples that break up really amicably and one party is like, I know you still, you know, talk to my family and that's fine. But like if you haven't gotten permission, stay out of my fucking family's business. Like do not contact my family. Like,
Yeah,
you
the
know?
audacity is crazy to me. And like, yes, I mean, certainly there's situations where everything is amicable, but it feels like this is like insidious and I'm just trying to like get in there. And I remember one time I broke up with an ex and we had a very close mutual friend and I said to him like, I don't want you to tell him anything about me. I do not want to know anything about him. Like I hate having these like mutual connections. I'm not into it.
I know.
Okay. Decorated my whole car at work for Valentine's Day. I had no idea, and a coworker had to tell me. That is crazy.
Are we in high school?
Car, grow up.
Decorating cars. I used to love to decorate a car.
You did?
For like Spirit Week and shit.
I didn't know about this.
Did I? Or was this like from a movie?
High school. Now you're walking it back. You don't know if you did
do
it.
that?
It's really funny that
know.
you said it. You said it for Spirit Week. I don't
Well,
think
we
had
did do
Spirit
like a bunch
Week.
of stuff for Spirit Week. We had a really like spirited high school.
This is bold. Sent me a message on my wedding day saying that if I backed out, he had a ring ready.
So, I mean, I just want more information. That one intrigued me the most. Who broke up with who? Like, if she broke up with him and he's just always still been in love with her, like, it's not appropriate no matter what. But if he broke her heart and fucked her up and then she found someone else and is getting married and then he did that, fuck you. That's so fucked up. That's so disgusting. You just want to get in her head. It's so manipulative. It's so gross. The only way I can see it being a little bit more acceptable, still not acceptable, would be like she broke his heart and he's still like one last ditch effort. Like, I still love you. I want to be with you. Please marry me instead.
Listen, I get it. I guess it's. I mean, it's a Hail Mary for sure. My ex-fiance got married, and I thought about like sliding in and like congratulating him, like similar to like the birthday text. Does somebody want to hear from you? I thought about being like, I'm so happy for you, and life moves on. Isn't that beautiful that like everybody can? And then I just thought like, what is the point of this?
I know.
Why open the door? And I just stopped.
I know.
Called my mom to beg her to convince me to get back with him again. What are we doing with families?
No.
Like, if your parent sides with your ex, you should have fight with your parent.
Well, that was like what pissed me off with Jessica Simpson. I cannot believe we thought at that same time. Yes, like her parents were hanging out with John Mayer.
That's wild. It just feels like her parents were like huge social climbers.
Yeah.
And like star fuckers, and so like they had to do stuff like that.
Okay, usually a Tuesday midday dick nude, a dick pic. That's how you're reaching out?
Also, who's ever said dick nude?
Dick nude! Dick
pic.
So funny. Okay, I had a dream about you DM.
That is as low as I thought I saw you across the street.
But I mean, this is
I was just
also
in your neighborhood.
I know, but to me, this feels like you're trying to get back together and you don't know a better way to go about it. And like, if it was a serious relationship that ended in a serious way, it's just so not the move. But if it was somebody that you dated casually and they're trying to get back in there, we could fuck maybe. You never know.
To get back in there, but again, like if we broke up in a real way,
Yes.
I'm not looking for the casual check-in.
All right, tried to call me from jail.
Sure. Maybe she's successful.
Maybe he needed bail.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the only number he memorized. Sent me a calendar invite to call him. That's so funny. You'd do that to me if we were in a fight.
Yeah, I would.
If Brandon and I ever break up, okay. Super liked me on Tinder. Oh my gosh. Gives you a rose on Hinge. Endorsed me on LinkedIn for my Microsoft Word skills.
That's fucking funny.
Suing me for custody of my dog.
What a piece of shit. That's not sliding back in.
She got served. She got papers. I blocked my ex on social media. He contacted me by buying something from my Etsy. I'll take it.
I mean,
I'll take the business.
Money.
You can buy our merch.
Yeah.
All my exes can buy our merch.
Go back, listen to every podcast episode 4 times.
And this one, I ended it with this one on purpose when I was adding some of these in. Sent me a screenshot that my podcast was his most listened to on Spotify Wrapped.
How do you feel about it?
I just think it's funny because, like, someone would do that to us, like, and I'd be like, of course it was. Of course our podcast was your top podcast in Spotify Wrapped.
I expect it to be. And, like, you probably would listen every week to hear what I said about you.
I feel like, I mean, it would matter who it was and how it ended. I think it's so funny because it's such a confession that, like, I'm still stalking you. Like, I'm still listening to everything you talk about.
I think if it wasn't a serious ex, it's actually like a really cute way to slide in. Like, I'm thinking of somebody that, like, you and I know that said he's like a fan of the podcast and we started like hooking up. And like, if he was like, you're in my top 3, I'd be like, we can fuck tomorrow.
I mean,
absolutely.
I know. I'm thinking about that. There was a guy I was just DMing with him this morning. We dated casually, but I'm just thinking, like, if he sent me that, I'd be like, do you want to come over?
I know. Listen, you can get back in
nice
here.
to fuck a fan.
I've always wanted an audience member inside of me. I love it.
Well, those are the submissions. We love them so much.
Yeah,
I think it was so good.
It really runs the gamut.
It really, I mean, there's just so many ways. Like, what did people have to do in the olden days? They had to, like, send, like, a telegram, or they'd have to, like, get a horse to deliver a note, or you just have to show up.
Show up on the horse?
Yeah.
You said it with a carrier pigeon.
A carrier pigeon, that's what I meant.
I'm just so glad we did this because, like, I have had so many exes sliding in recently and it fucked me up. And I've been, like, in my head about it and it's been stressing me out and I like talking about it on this podcast. And, like, I think that, like, the more you talk about it and the longer you sort of wait and marinate over it, the better you just feel. Like, but it does fuck you up for a minute.
Yeah, and again, I just really think that if you don't engage because you don't want to, that is your right, and they will go away. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had to do that. I had to do that with an ex not that long ago. I felt a little bad about not responding, but I just had to because I was like, this will just keep going on. Mm-hmm. I responded once, and then I tried to make it very clear, but then I was like, I feel badly. I care about this person. I want them to be okay, but this will open the floodgates, and we're not doing it. We're not doing this again.
I think you did the right thing. I mean, I loved how you behaved in that whole situation. I just think that, like, you got to just do what's best for you, and sometimes what you know is best for that person. Like,
yeah.
I think that you also read the room, and you were like, this is not going to be good for him.
I mean, and there's another guy that not an ex, like someone that I just used to hook up with, and maybe we went on a date here and there. We did have sex. This was so many years ago. He has hit me up so many times. He's texts me, he's DMs me all the time. And I don't know, he wants to hang out. I don't know what his end goal would be. If it's like to be together or he just wants to fuck again, or like, but he has been pursuing me so hard and I don't respond at all. I don't need to.
I know.
You can continue to talk to yourself in text and DMs, and you don't, like, I just want to say, like, to all the listeners, women, men, whoever, you don't owe these people anything.
Literally at all.
Unless you do for some reason. But I'm saying for the most part, no, it's over.
It feels like crazy behavior to keep doing it. Like a normal, rational person will reach out once they don't hear from you. They should go away. Otherwise, it's harassment.
Especially, like, I've seen it. Like, I saw your message. It says seen.
That's your answer. No response is a very solid response. And somebody doesn't text me back for like 4 hours. I'm like, I feel like you did this on purpose.
I know.
All
right. Wow.
Well, I'm glad that we did this. I feel like I worked some stuff out. What is this baby pose? What's this called?
Happy baby.
I'm in happy baby right now.
Good.
I gotta take a shower and go to the beach. Well, I forgot to say at the top of the episode, but we will be doing new merch soon. So, guys, get the stuff while you can. We have really, really cool, amazing stuff. But Ashley and I and Bella are designing new stuff. So, get some stuff while you can. And we'll have new merch items coming out soon.
Yes, and guys, we still have a few tickets left. I'm looking right now. There are a few left in St. Louis. There are tickets left in Kansas City. There are a handful left in Indianapolis. Pittsburgh, I think, is sold out. But, I mean, check closer. We sometimes release some closer to the date. There are tickets in Detroit and Toronto, very close to selling out as well, but there are still a few left. So St. Louis, Kansas City, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Toronto. We will see you soon. Grab those tickets, and we can't wait to see you. We're planning everything out. These are going to be so great. And that just reminded me of a DM I need to send regarding the dancers for...
I need to send.
You know. I need to send. An email I need to send. Am I good?
Oh, for
one of the...
You guys, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's gonna be so good.
All right, that's it. You want to take us out?
Yes, guys, you can get everything you need, merch, of course, and tickets at girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. You can follow us on Instagram at girlsgottaeatpodcast. I am Ash Hess on Instagram and TikTok. Rain is Rain.Greenberg, and we are girls_gotta eat on Twitter, and we will see you next week.
That's it. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.